This video is brought to you by our Patreon page. Help us grow and keep creating great content by supporting us on Patreon. Hey, welcome to Kanda Yoga. My name is Kyle and welcome to the new series. We are beginning the mobility series, which is something slightly different. Still going to be working with our breath, but I'm going to show you a few exercises that you can do to really work into specific areas and really begin to progress in your flexibility. In the series, I'm going to be isolating a different section of the body and making a video for each of that, maybe even a few of those. So you're going to be learning quite a few nice stretches. Some you may find challenging, some may be really nice. And I'm going to advise you to do at least one of the videos per week. You'll find that you'll progress really quickly with even just one video. We're going to be going through 5 exercises in the video. And if you need some blocks, they may be useful, especially if you are feeling a little bit tight. Even just a firm pillow will help a lot. Today we're going to be working on the hip mobility and flexibility. We're going to go through 5 different exercises. It is for everyone. This is an all levels class. You can either kind of start in or go in a little bit deeper. I'll show you how. Blocks make life a lot easier. And if you'd like to join in and not miss out on any of the classes moving forward for this series, you can always hit the subscribe button. The support for this channel goes a long way. Otherwise, when you're ready, you can grab your mat and let's begin. Okay, welcome back. So we will begin in a comfortable seat. We're going to be working in the hips, so we're going to do just a little bit of a warm-up. And I like to call these window wipers. So you can place your feet down just a little bit wider than hip width distance apart, placing the heels. You can rest onto your arms, just kind of relaxing, keeping your torso nice and straight. And from here, you're just going to lower both sets of knees over either to the left or right side. So I'm going to start on the left-hand side. And as you lower them down, you should feel an internal rotation on the right leg and an external rotation on the left. Now, there's also a tendency for the body to twist to the left, but you can find out, you can kind of like feel your way, keeping your chest nice and square, and you'll feel the stretch on the outside of the rotation. So we can breathe our way through center, and as you exhale, over to the right-hand side. Inhale through center, exhale over to the left. Now, you can use your blocks to adjust these. If your knees are hovering off the floor and it hurts quite a bit, take your block and you can place it underneath, either on the lower level, medium, or the high. And the idea is that you want to just be able to rest your knee, and you can also do that with the left-hand side. I'm going to place mine flat. Okay, so then you would have the knees over, and you can always just do one side first, placing it onto the onto the block, and then move over to the other side. It's just a nice way to incorporate blocks. Now we're going to add in a little bit here. So as you come over, once you place your legs down, keeping your chest nice and square, you're going to lift the internal knee up and then place it down. Inhale through center, exhale over to the other side. Raising the internal knee up and placing it down. Nice. Keep going. Inhale your way through center. Exhale over, place. And again, you can always add the breath in. Inhale to lift. Exhale to close. This is a really nice dynamic exercise, working and warming up the deep hips. Place over. And the idea with the series is that I'm just going to show you the exercises, explain a little bit how they're done and how you can either back out or deepen into them. And then you can kind of create and do them in your own time. If you'd like, if you really like this exercise, you can always just pause the video. And if you're really not into this, you could just kind of skip forward. There are 5 exercises. There may be a few more or a few less in each of the other videos. But kind of just learning a little bit more about mobility and how you can use your breath and work deeper into specific areas. Because sometimes throughout your yoga practice, you may have, tight hamstrings but loose hips, or some combination of the two, and you may want to work on one specific area just in your own time. And recently I've got into mobility and kind of researching a little bit about ways to effectively stretch certain areas. Okay, nice. From here, we're going to move into a 90-90. So I'm going to start at the back of my mat. And you're going to place your shin on the left-hand side, parallel to the top of your mat, and then your right leg comes through parallel to the side of your mat. So you're looking for a 90-90 shape. Now, again, I'm going to show you how to modify. You can take your block and place it underneath your hip, just to give yourself some space. And then you can place this block either underneath your left knee, if that is comfortable on the ground. And if your right hip is hurting, you can always place the block underneath the left. So the blocks are kind of used just to create a little bit of height to reduce the distance so you can get deep into the posture. Now, from here, you're going to open your chest to inhale, and as you exhale, you're going to dip your chest down, and then you can always feel around and deepen, kind of twisting into the stretch, coming a bit lower. But again, always using the breath to inhale to open the posture and exhale to close. And again, you can always remove the blocks if that gets comfortable quite quickly, placing it down. And you want to keep your body nice and square and use your breath to close into the posture. And this is very comfortable for you and you'd like to progress a little bit more, you can always, as you come up, raise, so using your leg muscle to raise the leg up off the floor to activate the leg, place it down, relax, and then deepen into the stretch. So you kind of add a bit of tension, working the counter muscle. So you strengthen the counter muscle, and then you relax and deepen it in. Inhale, raise the leg up. Exhale, place in and relax into the stretch. Now we're going to add again external rotation, taking the right leg, lifting it up, placing it down, using your exhale to deepen in. So if you'd like to move with the breath, inhale to rise up, right knee lifts, exhale to place and all the way down. Inhale, exhale. Move over to the other side, switching through. And if you are on the other side, you just make sure that you switch over. Again, leg is parallel to the top of your mat. Other leg is 90, so you're looking for a 90-90. You can modify by taking your block and placing it underneath your hip just to give yourself a bit of height. And if you'd like a little bit more, you can always stack them accordingly. And you can place this underneath your right knee. And again, the idea is to use your inhale to open into the posture and your exhale to close into the posture. Looking for long, deep belly breaths. And keeping your attention embodied as you move through your practice, often with these sort of slower practices where you work into repetition. It's a nice opportunity to use your sort of mindfulness practice and keep your attention in your body, feeling into your movements, noticing what comes up for you. Often when you get into the hips, it can be quite emotional. A lot of our emotions are stored in our hips. Again, and if you'd like to work a little bit deeper, you can raise the left leg up to work that strengthen. As you exhale, relax and deepen. And another nice thing you can do, if raising the leg up is a little bit too much, you can always press into the ground and then relax to deepen. You can even do both. So you would press, raise, deepen. I'm going to add in a external rotation, taking the leg, opening it up, keeping this leg on the ground if possible. And as you exhale, deepen in. One more time. And a long exhale to deepen in. And another nice thing you can do is, once you get in towards the end of your circuit, you can use your exhale to hold for 5 seconds, and next time you can hold for 7 and 10 and kind of really build in, pushing just a little bit past your threshold every time. So we're going to just window wipe again just to release the hips from left to right. And from here, we're going to move into a Scandasana. And this is something that really helps lengthen and strengthen the muscles, especially in the mobility realm. So we're going to get up onto the heels. And from here, have your legs just kind of like at a comfortable stretch, having them slightly faced in. I'm going to show you what to do to begin with. You're going to start with the block on your heel. If you don't have a block, that's totally fine. You're going to just have your heel raised up. And the idea is that we're going to be shifting the weight from the one heel over to the next heel. Now, there's a tendency for the heel to lift up, which is totally fine. And over time, you're going to find yourself working down into the heel and then kind of lifting it back up. The block, you can always place underneath the heel, which is nice to rest on. You can take your other block and place it underneath your calf or your hamstring. And this is just so you can kind of relax into the posture. So if you need to kind of get up from here and place down, that's also cool. And then you can slowly start to remove the blocks. Otherwise, you can take a block and just place it underneath your hamstring to sit a little bit deeper into the hip. It's always nice just to play around and eventually working into a full squat. And then from here, we're going to shift over through to the other side. What's nice is if you can flex your extended leg and you're going to feel a stretch on the hamstring. And you can either work through in isolation, staying here, lifting up onto the top of the foot, shifting it to the back, using your hands or just your muscles to shift over. And what's also nice is if you can hook your elbow on the inside and open your chest up, working into a bit of a stretch, using your hands to shift over, keeping your hips nice and low, hooking the elbow, opening the chest up. So there really is no right or wrong way to do this. I suppose there is a right way, but there's no really wrong way to do this. The idea is just to kind of play around and feel into your own body. For instance, for me, this little inside line here is always very tight. I don't feel anything on the right side, but for some reason my left-hand side is always a bit tight. So I like to kind of work into this area a little bit more. And another nice thing is if you work your tight side, then your loose side, and then your tight side again. Again, still breathing in nice and deep. Perhaps inhale your way through center, keeping your hips nice and low, and then exhale over through to the other side. And you can release. You're going to come back down onto the ground, moving into a Supta fold. So you're going to have the soles of the feet to touch. And again, if you need to, you can have your blocks and you can place them underneath your hips or your knees, calves. You can have them on a height, however you like, just in case it's a little bit sore on your outer hips. We're going to start off nice and close, so bring them in. And again, I'll just show you how to prop it. I like to place them on the outside of my legs. I'm going to inhale to lift the chest up and exhale to deepen. And you want to make sure that you are opening your chest up, so you're kind of leading forward with your belly, encouraging a fold at the crease of your hips. And you can walk your feet a little bit forward or walk your sitting bones back a little bit. So we're going to, as we breathe, we're going to walk our feet forward, encouraging a full rotation on the hips as we deepen into our stretch. And you can move it a little bit more forward. This for me is nice and tight when it kind of gets into that inside area. release. If you'd like to, you can always window wiper again just to release the hips. And we're going to move into our last posture, which is one of my favorites, and it is called Happy Baby. So we're going to make our way to our backs. And we're going to begin with just drawing the knees into the chest. And I'll work through a few variations. So the idea is that you're going to open up your hips and draw the knees down. So if this feels good, you can stay here. We're going to raise the legs up. You can take all out the hamstrings, into the knees, still opening into the hips. And the full expression would be to take the outer blades of the feet and slowly draw your knees outwards. You'd like to add a little rock from left to right. That always feels good. And you want to tuck your chin and use the push and pull with your hands and your feet to get your tailbone on the ground. So really pull the shoulders down and kick into the hands. You can give it a feel. Just resist with the hands and kick into your arms and feel your tailbone flatten. Perhaps just taking a moment to embody your attention, feeling into the sensations as you massage your back and work deeper into your hips. And you can release, draw your knees into your chest. Give yourself a giant squeeze of gratitude, taking a moment to appreciate your body and your practice. And with an exhale, release and relax into Shavasana. Take up some space. It's always good just to end, even with a quick Shavasana, just to bring it back to the body and allow your muscles and your sensations just to relax. Take a deep breath in. And exhale to release. Well done. You're welcome to lay here as long as you like. I'm going to encourage you to take a few more breaths than you normally would, just keeping your attention embodied and using your exhale to release and relax. Thank you once again for putting such beautiful effort into your self-practice and into this channel. We'd love you to hear from you in the comments section. Otherwise, I'll see you next time on your mat. Namaste.